if you are.
Cool. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Autos Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host. And
Karen.
we're live on a Monday night, ready to do some podcasts, and find us wherever you get podcasts. The official weapon of the show is
The taste of
an unofficial sport
football.
and bullet ball extreme. Let's get right into it. There's lots of news to talk about. Not a lot of coronavirus news, because it's only been a day, and it don't exist no more to people. Uh, so the only coronavirus related news is
They like coronavirus. Who this?
yeah, the only they never heard of them. The only coronavirus news is Dr. Fauci says he plans to retire when President Biden's current term ends. So he's basically like, I'm not planning on doing this for the rest of my life, and I think coronavirus is gonna be here for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and not trying to be funny, I kind of don't blame him. My personal opinion, I think the only reason why he stuck it out as long as he did was because Trump was in office,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "It with my integrity and what I do for a living, it will be irresponsible for me not to be in this position. Because if anybody else gets this position, it would be so much worse than it actually already is."
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it just shows you a lot about the politicization of everything, that he's hated by half the country. And not, and not, I mean, I guess there are liberal people that hate him too, but not for the same reason. Like, half the country thinks this motherfucker is not a real doctor, and and Dr. Fauci, and he's lying and shit. And then there's other people that are just mad that we're not China, where you can enforce a lockdown at any time. So like, I don't think it's equal levels of mad, but just the fact that it's so politicized, that a neutral office that served under different presidents and different administrations from different
Never
parties,
had this problem before.
yeah, suddenly it's like he's getting death threats and shit. We are not worth it.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I have to have security for me and my wife and my kids. Fuck this. And it's one of those things where he was like, if you die, you die, because I've done everything I can. If y'all want to be stupid and just go out there and tongue kiss coronavirus, not my problem no more.
Another breaking news. The Bodega Boys broke up, man.
I heard.
Jesus and Mero, they stopped doing their podcast like last year, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe,
it's been a while.
Yeah, like it was 2021. And people thought maybe they were just taking a break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of the coronavirus, it was just a lot happening during that time. So
but then they continued to do their TV show,
mm-hmm.
even with the coronavirus and stuff happening, and so yeah, they hadn't put out a show since November 2021, and that's for the Bodega Boys podcast. And then with the TV show, there were episodes continuing to come out, but they're not going to do a fifth season. The series, the duo has split. The Showtime series is going to end after 4 seasons. Before that, they had been doing the Vice series. They've been doing the podcast. They've been working together for so long, like, inextricably linked. Like, those people that, no matter what it seems like they're saying they want to go do separate things, and which I totally understand, but no matter what they do, they'll always be linked for the rest of our lives.
They even wrote a book together.
Yeah, I was thinking how that writing a book together, that'd be the test for a lot of duos. You know what I mean? But yeah, so nobody is saying exactly what happened behind the scenes, but you're seeing like tweets and Reddit threads and like kind of these sub comments that make it sound like it's not that amicable of a split. People saying forget some of the exact wording, but it was like Jesus saying like, oh yeah, we need to come back together so we can at least give everybody like a final send off, and then Meryl being like, nah, that's not gonna happen. So that doesn't sound amicable. You know what I mean? That doesn't sound. So yeah, it's just sad. I had heard rumors that they were like behind the scenes not cool with each other, but you hear shit and you're just like, I hope that's not true.
Right.
You know what I
Because you
mean?
don't never know, right?
Yeah, and it's like I don't work there. I don't know those guys like that. And but this is back when I was in New York, people was like, yeah, they don't even talk when the camera's off and it's real bad and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't like, I hope it's not true. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, what can you say? I mean, because like when you got to work with someone that part of what y'all do is having fun and making fun.
Mm-hmm.
When the camera's on, I mean, it's not like y'all gonna be fighting each other, and or if you do, like y'all ain't gonna have a show. So, at least when I was watching, I couldn't tell. I was like, okay, they're still clowning, but and then it's just sad too, because like those dudes, like some of the most famous exploits was talking shit about DJ Academics and talking shit about DJ Envy and shit, and those people gonna be partying off of this news.
Tomorrow morning the radio is gonna be lit.
Yeah. And my guess is, whatever we're thinking, they've exhausted all that shit already. So
yeah, because there's a lot of people who don't get along. We don't never hear about it, because different peoples have different functioning relationships, be it sports, be it whatever, be it something that's outside of solo. There's a lot of people that don't like each other, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. But we ain't got to be best friends. But some people that can't do that, and that's very understandable because different people have different personalities.
Yeah, and I mean, people were saying like, it's just hard to work like that as a duo, and people that especially if you're not like married or in some other type of partnership where y'all really rely on each other. It's like y'all money rely on each other. Y'all have to have this friendship and shit that has to last X amount of years without y'all doing anything apart, because people see you as together. And people were saying that the all MLB like celebrity game, they were there but not speaking to each other or something. So like it seemed like it was a lot of scuttlebutt, and if I just came to a head when all this stuff was released.
It's just sad. Like that's the truth. It's just really sad because they was some people that I was really really rooting for. Because the thing is, regardless of the show ending and all that, they open up doors for people that I don't think would have been opened up otherwise. Like I don't mean no harm. Like before them, they would have never gave somebody black and brown a platform of that magnitude and was like, hey, we're going to push you, we're going to market you, you're going to have Super Bowl ads, like we're going to make you the face of something.
Right. And two dudes that weren't like code switching.
Right, it's just themselves.
It didn't really seem like, I mean, I'm not saying it in a pejorative way, but it didn't seem like they took like media training classes and were like, we're going to be corporate. It just seemed like they kept being more successful, but still seeming to be themselves. So who knows what could have happened? I obviously it's only speculation, but I just think when your money is attached to another person like that, it can just take like one disagreement on a project, one person being a little bit more money hungry or work oriented than the other person, and or just it's something isn't as successful as you like it to be, and it's got to be like, well, if I was doing this on my own, and that could be the spark that cracks everything for a lot of people. Not to mention, people always in your ear like, you should do this by yourself, or they holding you back, and you just never fucking know. But ultimately it just it's sad, but I imagine they've thought about that longer than we've thought about that.
Yeah, because
their Reddit,
it's news to us, but it ain't brand new to them.
Yeah, their Reddit is sad as hell with people right now. I went on their Reddit.
I have a lot of fans.
And yeah, the fans is like devastated because they was holding out hope. People thought maybe this was a bit, this is some type of joke. I was like,
yes,
they never joked like this before. Months long. Like, what would be funny about that? You know what I mean? I think podcast listeners after the read had, Kid Fury wants to take, said they're taking a break for his mental health and stuff. It's a lot of old head black and brown podcast listeners. It's like, we lose the recipes out here. Which, like I said, I'm a podcast fan too, so I can definitely relate, and it's hard. It's just harder than it looks to be consistent, to put out these episodes, to maintain your relationships, to grow together. It's just fucking hard. And I think people, it looks easy, to when you're doing a good job, but yeah, it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, and people underestimate the work and the effort and the behind the scenes, and it's a lot that goes on. And I really do hope, in my opinion, I hope that this doesn't shut the door. I hope they don't be like, well, this didn't work out. Okay, you know how a lot of these people get, they can only be one or nothing. And you're like, okay, y'all, because there's plenty of other people out here that y'all could give an opportunity to. Are y'all just gonna shut it down and be like, fuck it? Or are y'all gonna give other people an opportunity to shine too?
Yeah, and I think it's just the beginning of stuff coming out, because like I said, if you've seen their social media jabs, it's, for all the people that's like, oh no, I'm sure everything's cool. It's like, it sounds like, anytime somebody ends a tweet with on some like, just, oh y'all wait till y'all find out what's really going on, I'm always like, that's not good. It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, we split at the time, going on ways, and then let's like, maybe they have beef but nobody gonna know. Anytime somebody's on some wait till I tell y'all what happened, it's like, yeah, it's toxic, it's bad, it's more is gonna leak out, more like at some point it's gonna come to a head, because that's the other thing with social media, we can't mind our business, so people will egg it on, look for opportunities. They are people that are online on social media,
right?
Which means people are going to definitely treat it like a wrestling match and be like,
don't
explain this shit.
Right. These are real people with real feelings and real emotions and shit like that.
Plus, they're comedy, funny people, and there are people that don't fuck with them, because of some of the jokes and stuff, and some of the people they've clowned in the past. So there's gonna be a bunch of people instigated. I guarantee you this shit, we'll know more about this. This will be an ongoing story unless somebody pulls them to the side like, yo, don't do that. Although I will say, I saw the funniest joke related to this today, and I have to show y'all because, oh my god. But somebody said this is Deezus and Meryl right now, and they took a fighting game, and it's some Air Force Ones versus some Timbs. Where New York fitted. Don't make me stop. Don't make me stop. This is one you have to watch. I can't explain everything to you.
It's some Timberland boots with a New York hat, and they fighting in all the boroughs.
It's versus Yankees, and it's Yankees versus Knicks fitted. Timbs, and they're like hitting each other with fucking like burritos,
pizza,
chop. At some point they pull out a chopped cheese. Like, we got the money and power. Know that the city is ours. Pizza slices. It's so many jokes. Metro cars. Like,
all the New York jokes.
Dice. My favorite part is between rounds, like cars and shit drive by and it says "you're."
Somebody put out some haircut clippers.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, that's the funniest shit I've seen involving all this
like
stuff.
A what'd you call that? A Mortal Kombat. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So hopefully they can be mature about it. And I mean, I'm old enough to hope they can be mature about it, but I understand it's gonna be a lot of people and a lot of pressure. And I think unless you've been in the spotlight of having people like egg you on and shit, it's easy to lose. It's easy to see how somebody could, or like to us, it's like, oh no, I just wouldn't do blank. But unless you had all that pressure on you, it's gonna be the number one question people ask. And like I said, once we know about it, and then they don't have a business relationship, I don't know. We'll hear more if they really mad at each other. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm. And I hope maybe, they, repair their friendship, but you just never know with things like this.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot. Like I said, it's just stuff I'm looking at. Me, I'm a lot smarter than most people, so I see all the angles. But it's gonna be people talking shit too. That's gonna egg it on too. Like it's just like if everybody's mature, it's a lot easier. Like if somebody's going through like a divorce, people seem to be more mature about that. Like a romantic relationship where it's like we won't have to ask whose fault it is or whatever. Like, oh, okay, they broke up and that's their business. But I think when people see friendship and business, they treat it like gossip. Like, well, what happened? You know, and when you start sniping at each other, it's definitely gonna be more incentive to keep like egging it on till we find out what happened. Which is, you know, I guess even in a romantic relationship, if you find out like if one person alleges the other person cheated, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now someone has to be the bad guy. We gotta. So I think people in the way that people operate, they want somebody to be the bad guy.
Yes.
So we'll see. But yeah, I feel feel bad for him. All right, let's get into other news, which is Kevin Samuels. Apparently, his autopsy or whatever, his cause of death has been revealed, and it was hypertension.
Oh,
yeah, and he was 57 years old. He had been prescribed medication for hypertension. You know, no, who knows if he was taking it or not. I know that's a big thing for a lot of people. They get prescribed shit and they don't take it.
Yep.
But I think the main thing is that, at least to me, you know, not to dunk on this nigga again, but this shit where people are like, oh, he was sitting around all day talking about black women being fat and fat people and don't nobody want to be with you because you're fat and you're unhealthy and you're this, that, and the other. And this happens a lot where it's just like, just because somebody is thin does not mean they are in tip-top shape or healthy.
No.
And this dude was talking that shit and fucking died of hypertension, which is something that happens from being, you know, like your arteries hardening and shit and your heart pain, like it, and especially if you're not treating it or taking your meds and all kinds of stuff. So like, it's just interesting because you look at him, he's got a suit on and he's talking shit about everybody who's fat, and you go, well, obviously this man's gonna live to forever. He's a specimen of health. And it's like, that doesn't mean shit. People just look how they look sometimes. Good or bad. It's like, you know, people look at like an NBA player who's fat and be like, oh, that motherfucker need to get his life together. It's like, I don't know, motherfuckers also guaranteed in the top something percentage of people in the world that can do that sport. So clearly they might not be where you think they should be, but clearly they're not. The concern versus you and them is completely different. You know, it's all about like a certain aesthetic, and that's what he was selling. And you won't see his people who definitely used his words for fat phobia and hate and a really divisive shit.
And a lot of people bought into it. And I guess I was just amazed, and maybe this is just me and my naivete to it, how many black women were coming out and be like, yeah, I lost weight because of him. It's like, that don't make no sense.
I mean, yeah, it's like you won't hear those people bring this up as a, well, damn, maybe he wasn't living what he was saying.
All right.
Or maybe he was wrong. You won't hear them bring that up, you know, because fat phobia is so ingrained in people. It's really like, you fat, you shouldn't love yourself. You shouldn't be.
They just people assume you unhealthy.
You shouldn't be.
Why are you out? Why are we looking at you? You like,
it's not even just a health thing. The health thing to me is always a scapegoat. It's really an aesthetic thing of, you shouldn't love yourself because I couldn't love you, and I wouldn't love myself if I was you.
Right.
You know, which is why people always, even when they're being positive, they always do that shit. Like Lizzo is so brave and shit, where it's like, what you're really saying is, the world knows you shouldn't love yourself at that weight. So why are you coming out the house, basically? And God forbid you know, trying to be sexy coming out the house or something. It's even more of a fuck you, you know? But yeah, that's what he died of. And it's, for me, it's like that dude spared so much discord and misery, and his legacy is gonna be forever. That manosphere shit and the responses to the manosphere, which is like, you know, the black, I don't even know what you call a woman thing, forget what they call that shit, but whatever that shit is, that's the opposite toxic. that's a hell of a terrible legacy to leave behind for black people, in my opinion. He's not some Malcolm X heroic unifying figure to me. He's a guy that spent a lot of his lifetime trolling to make money and get attention and clout, and it worked on a lot of people. And even when he wasn't living his raps, he died alone, single, some woman he just fucking met, all that stuff about what that wasn't black. So all that shit about black love, unity, we need to come together, I'm trying to save us, to me that's all bullshit. I'm not really sure how people could see it different. Constance Wu attempted suicide after Fresh on the Boat tweet backlash.
Oh no.
She returned to Twitter for the first time in nearly 3 years, announcing her book Making a Scene, and the reveal she attempted suicide following the backlash that erupted against her in 2019. Social media was outraged at Wu after she expressed frustration over her sitcom Fresh Off the Boat being renewed. Yeah, I remember this because I guess she was trying to get off the air or whatever and get into, like, she ended up being like a movie star and stuff. And people was like, you lucky to look at you, you're lucky to even be able to get a renewal for your TV show. How can you be upset with this? She said, I was afraid of coming back on social media because I almost lost my life from it 3 years ago when I made careless tweets about the renewal of my TV show. It ignited outrage and internet shaming that got pretty severe. I felt awful about what I'd said, and when a few DMs from a fellow Asian actress told me I'd become a blight on the Asian community, I started feeling like I didn't even deserve to live anymore, that I was a disgrace to Asian Americans, and they'd be better off without me. Looking back, it's surreal that a few DMs convinced me to end my own life, but that's what happened. Luckily, a friend found me and rushed me to the ER. So yeah, when it got renewed, she said, so upset right now, I'm literally crying, fucking hell. Then a user congratulated her. That was when the user congratulated her on the renewal. She said, great news. They said, great news. She said, no, it's not. She went on to clarify her comment, saying she was upset in the moment because Fresh Off the Boat renewal meant she had to turn down a passion project. She noted her television role had become easy and pleasant, and she was looking for further challenges, which she felt the new project would have provided. Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where you share something like that on social media, it's never gonna go well. Even if people could understand it, most people are when it comes to celebrity shit, a lot of people are more envious and jealous than necessarily rooting for you. It's not like like if you called a friend and told that to your friend would have an understanding. They might even be like, hey, you should practice gratitude, but they'd understand where you were coming from. Whereas the internet is not your friend. Social media is not your friend.
No, they don't care. And everybody woulda, coulda, shoulda if I was in your shoes, but you don't never know. Like, everybody knows what's best for everybody in everybody else's situation. But when it comes to their own, all of a sudden they're the exception to their own rules that they put out in the world. Everybody else has expectations that they wouldn't even live up to themselves.
Yeah, and which was funny because Fresh Off the Boat was catching it both ways anyway.
I enjoyed that show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well, but it was also one of those shows that a lot of people, out of either jealousy or, in my opinion, a lot of misplaced representational politics, which is one of the reasons I don't really go up for that shit. It became this, it needs to be everything, and it needs to be a positive thing, and it needs to fit every like it needs to be like message every week and need to tell us a PSA, and people got mad that it was like too funny and hip hop and goofy and all this shit, and it was like it's cool and it's setting Asian people back, and you got to deal with that shit. Then you got black people mad because the guy the show's about in real life was influenced by a lot of black culture, and so this is his story. It's one of the things I love about, like I said, Asian and black people. One of the things I love about our cultures is how much they intersect and are inspired by each other. But there's a lot of people in the internet that have decided that that's somehow some territorial shit that only happens one way or the other. So there was a lot of fighting and all that stuff too. So it was so, I don't know, like it was so unfair what happened to that show. And of course that show had hella talent on it,
It did.
People went off to spin off like bigger careers and all this stuff. But man, like that, it's another thing too of like, the check on your strong friend shit always feels like bullshit to me, because listen to how people talk. We talk as if nobody can see what we're saying, and we talk at people sometimes on purpose, hoping they see what we say in the meanest fucking way possible.
Mhm.
And I see it, you know, whenever we bring up certain topics or people in our chat room, or you see it on the internet, or if I like bring something up on my Facebook page or something. And the message is normally very simple, which is like, yo, man, we should think more about how we treat people and operate with a little more kindness towards each other.
Correct.
Even if somebody's a celebrity, there's
don't want to
like,
hear that.
it's okay not to fall into these hives of hatred and
Mhm.
and all this shit. And every time there'll be somebody who's like, no, I'm gonna be a piece of shit. And it'll be the same people that tell me, you like it's funny. I'm recalling one person that I've seen them post shit. It could be many people actually. I've
Mhm.
seen people post specifically about their own depression, suicidal feelings, and all this negative, you know, because it's normally people that's hyper online that share a lot, that join these like hate hives of like jumping in on the next celebrity that makes a mistake or whatever.
Right.
And I've seen within like 24 hours them post about how depressed and sad they are, clearly signaling for people online to reach out and stuff. And then jumping in some celebrity shit for where you're like, that's the same. Like, how do you think that would make that person feel?
They don't
Like,
care.
it's the same level and I always think, you know, it's a lot of that projection is real. It's coming from you. Like, it is how you talk to yourself in your head. That's not healthy. And then projecting onto these strangers online, that's not healthy. And then there's always this idea of like, well, it's okay because they're celebrities and we envy them and they have the things we want, so we can talk about them this way, and it's okay and it's fine. And then you occasionally hear stories like this, and this is a lucky story because she wasn't successful.
Right.
Um,
And these same people would be talking about, oh, we hate that it happened. Like if she was
right.
to
Oh
die.
yeah, check on your strong friends. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And that's the shit that kills me.
Yeah, it's check on your strong friends when one of these motherfuckers had something bad happen to them,
Mhm.
or they killed themselves or something. And I don't know how many times we have to see like how many people clearly, even as celebrities, it's almost insane the amount of people that clearly have all the stuff you think would make you happy and then take their own lives.
Right, because it does not equal happiness.
Yeah, or die by suicide. I mean, you know, but it's clearly obvious that there's things. How many times we watch somebody's TikTok and it's some celebrity crying at the mean things that's been said about them online, or someone in an interview trying to explain like, but you know, y'all gotta understand, and it's just us taking every single moment of that interview like, look at this dumb bitch, look at it, oh, look at him, he lying, you know. It's people taking innocuous posts from Chris Pratt and being like he must hate his other child and shit,
Right.
where it's clearly our unhealthiness extrapolated onto these people. And I'm gonna forever stand on that, you know. Like I'm you know, it's just that thing where it's like, I know I'm right about this shit, and I feel such conviction. And honestly, if I wanted to do the same show as everybody else and do the podcast that sounded like the rest of these people, then I'd do that. But the reason people listen to our show is because we are different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the reason that we can do so many of these episodes because we're not up here lying or just trying to fit in with the next like trend and be like, oh, so we hating on so-and-so now? It's like, nah, if a lot of these people didn't do nothing to be hated the way that y'all hate them.
Right.
It's just you need somebody to hate. You need fuel for your engine.
Yes, the logic absolutely positively makes no sense. And it's one of the things where like you say, and it's been periods of time where we've got pushback from people that wrote in and people in the chat. Like you bring up certain people, you bring up Kanye West, you bring up Kim Kardashian, you bring up Chris Pratt, you bring up certain people, and people just see red. You don't know these people. You know these people are, you're not in their everyday lives. You're reading stuff online. You have no intimate relationship with these people, and as soon as these people name come up, people just go. People just they fuming and they're upset,
and you'll believe anything negative.
Correct.
Which is already like a weird default setting of like, someone could say the worst fucking thing this person like, and you're like, yep, they did it. I'm like, well, that's not proof of that. Another thing that happened was, so when I shared this link to this article on Twitter, I don't even think I made a comment on it. I just shared it. And it was so funny because one person replied, "Oh, Little Miss cultural appropriation wants somebody to feel sad for her." And it was interesting on two levels. On the one level, you just proved Constance Wu's point, which is how toxic social media can be. And clearly you didn't read the article or give a fuck. You just wanted to do like the hate hive thing and have everybody go, yeah, fuck that bitch, kill yourself, bitch. It's about a suicide attempt. You would think if anything, you'd be like, well, we had the fucking moment, right? Like y'all talked all that shit, it worked. You would, even then you wouldn't be like, damn, let me back off. That's crazy. I didn't want her to kill herself. No, it was like, yes, bitch, kill yourself. So that's number one. The number two thing was you were clearly talking about Aquafina. You not even talking about, not that Constance Wu. I've never seen Constance Wu get accused of. So you're clearly talking about Aquafina, which kind of makes you seem racist, right? Like you the one that don't know what the fuck or who the fuck you're talking about, and of course they end up deleting the tweet. No apology, no clarification, no nothing, because that's what the ultimate thing is about, right? If that was some celebrity that made that tweet, right, we will be like, we need to hold them accountable. They got to do this. That's racist. How you going to explain that shit? But you're not a celebrity. You're nobody. So you get the shit on Aquafina or Constance Wu, and then you delete your shit, and we just all act like it never happened because you ain't nobody. Nobody cares about you. And people have really weaponized anonymity and the fact that nobody gives a fuck about them to act like it's a higher moral standing when it's not. It's just no one's listening to you.
Nobody's looking for you.
Yeah, I remember listening to this podcast where this guy, like every week he has to do a segment on like how somebody fucked up. It's like, oh, you fucked up. This person fucked up. They fucked up. And I remember going like, okay, well, let's entertain the show. And I go check out his Twitter, and there's like 300 tweets. I'm like, but I know this dude been on Twitter for like over a decade. It turns out he deletes all his tweets. Why do you delete all your tweets? Because you will never hold yourself accountable or be able to hold up to the scrutiny that you hold up everyone else to. It's a fake moral high ground. It's you playing with a deck that is stacked in your favor. In that, one, nobody's really checking for you like that. Two, you're erasing everything as they're checking for you so that you won't be caught up. Not that you're a better person, you just won't be caught up. So anytime you're bringing up someone's tweets from 2015 and yours are deleted, you're not a better person. You just deleted that shit.
Right.
It's such a, and I stopped listening to that show because of that. I was like, it's such a fake ass, I was always right type of vibe. And I think that shit is doing us so much harm. And they're victims of this shit. In this case, it's easy to not feel bad for somebody who is rich, famous, attractive, whatever measurements people want to use that they envy in people. But I'm like, okay, Constance Wu is a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that were successful. There's a lot of people that weren't as famous. There's a lot of people that just that voice is in their own head. Because if someone was able to trigger her through some DMs, that's a voice that's in your own head already that they're amplifying. So I don't know. It's got to be a little bit more. I think we should be a little more thoughtful about how we engage with each other, but I don't think anyone's going to take that lesson from this.
No, because online you're not rewarded for that. And retweets and posts and favorites and likes and reshares, that's currency. Right. And it gives you that dopamine, that high. Right. And as long as the internet is designed to give you that high, people will continue to do this. Because I've seen people over the years, as they've been on the internet and as they've gotten older, they've calmed down for the better. I've seen people who used to be in celebrities' asses all the time. Now they're like, I don't care. And and I've seen people online say how when they was younger, they would just get in all these debates and, like you said, be in these hives and then realize they were sad and depressed and all that shit. And it was like, I had to cut that out. Yes, because guess what? It does impact you no matter how you feel or what you think. it does impact you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, constantly being angry, constantly going after these people that you do not know.
Yeah, Daryl's asking about R. Kelly. Honestly, why wouldn't it be different for R. Kelly than this? Like, I'm trying to understand the relationship between Constance Wu having a tweet and then people pushing her towards so much shame that she would commit suicide, and then this dude being the most prolific serial abuser of young black girls, and I like a criminally so. I don't know. That feels like one of those weird slippery slope, like gotcha argument type things. I'm finding it hard to believe you're being sincere with that. Like, who is someone confused as to why somebody would be like, "Yo, R. Kelly's a piece of shit," and not feel like and feel like that's different than saying like Aquafina should kill herself or some shit. Like, I think those are two very different things that most rational minds can arrive at.
Those things are not the same.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
And a lot of times, like with Kelly stuff, it's evidence. Like, it's so much shit out there. Like, that's completely.
I mean, it's a criminal goddamn federal conspiracy
that's completely
that he's
different.
Involved in. I think those are totally different. Matter of fact, honestly, thank you for saying that. It really is the point I'm making. We shooting everybody with the AR-15. That's the point. Like, that kind of vitriol being reserved for somebody like a R. Kelly or Bill Cosby or you know what I'm saying, like somebody like that. I could understand, because it's like, yo, what they did is so egregious.
Right.
But we are the Coliseum attendees. We are the people looking to see somebody get eaten by a lion. It don't matter if they just a Christian. It don't matter if they're a rapist.
Don't matter what the infraction.
It's the people next to Jesus on the cross where we're like, yeah, one of them trying to be a savior. He healing people and shit. And this other motherfucker, what he do? He a murderer. What about them? Thief. We're like, yep, all of them going on the cross. That feels like what we need to justify people going up on that cross regardless of what they did. And so I think that's the point. Like, it's totally reasonable and rational for some people to do shit that's so egregious. You're like, yo, fuck them, blah, blah, blah. But what is becoming the yo, fuck them level of egregiousness is becoming smaller and smaller.
Yeah, the bar is
smaller, because we're the ones who are just rabidly thirsty for somebody to crucify. All right. Let's see what else is happening. Oh, those late show staffers would keep Stephen Colbert won't be prosecuted for U.S. Capitol incident where they tried to film in the Capitol, I guess, doing some type of joke like some type of joke for the show. But yeah, the Capitol Police said they were basically declining to prosecute the case, which is good. I don't think that's it. Would honestly, it would have looked fucking crazy if they would have prosecuted them after all the shit that happened on January 6th. It was like, oh, these comedians came in here and we're gonna throw the book at them. But then this motherfucker's getting off light for January 6th right now. It's like, and do you even have the fucking time? Like,
ain't y'all busy?
Yeah, and I'm if it was just a misunderstanding of permits or whatever, or motherfuckers trying to make a joke go too far, which I totally get, would need you to get arrested for doing that, because they definitely ain't in no fuck around mood right now. But yeah, the idea that they were gonna get the book thrown at them felt like a right-wing fantasy of, you know. And it was so ironic to watch those people that excuse January 6th trying to be like, and that's why they need to lock up Stephen Colbert people. It's like, you can't, I know you ain't talking.
Is you talking?
Yeah.
American Eagle flag in the background.
Yeah. January 6th was a dust up, but this motherfucker gotta go to prison. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. Joe Manchin is intentionally sabotaging the president's agenda.
No shit. Who wrote this article?
It's not who wrote it, it's who said it. Bernie Sanders. Senator Bernie Sanders on Sunday castigated Senator Joe Manchin after the West Virginia Democrat said he wouldn't support legislation focused on climate change and tax changes, citing his concern over high inflation. Manchin is intentionally sabotaging the president's agenda, what the American people want, what a majority of U.S. Democratic caucus wants. Nothing new about this, Sanders said. to This Week co-anchor Martha Raddatz. And the problem was that we continue to talk to Manchin like he was serious. He was not. When Manchin sabotages climate change, this is the future generations what's going on right now. In the West, all over the world, we're looking at the significantly increased more and more heat waves. You'd have to look at more flooding. This is an existential threat to humanity.
Yeah, like he's realizing something that a lot of people realized a long time ago. He wasting time. Like, and I think Bernie went in there sincerely, was like, "Oh yeah, we can work this out." He was like, "Okay, what you say?" And Bernie got mad.
Yeah, the main thing it makes you think about is the fantasy that so many people had of like, if Bernie was president, he could just talk to people a certain way, and these people that normally vote other ways would be like, "Oh, for Bernie, okay, I'm scared of him. I will go ahead and do what he says." And this is a couple times now that Bernie has attacked directly at Manchin and Sinema, and it's not changing how they vote. It's not changing what they believe. And if he was president, it wouldn't change shit either. Like, they clearly are fatalistically attached to right-wing money or right-wing causes when it comes to certain topics, and they're going to stick to those guns whether they lose office or not, whether they it derails the president's agenda or not, and they're never going to get rid of the filibuster and stuff. They are the people that are hamstringing this administration. Meanwhile, it behooves them to do so, because who normally pays the cost for it? Joe Biden. You listen to a lot of the news, the way it's covered, when Joe Biden does address things, it is immediately moved on from. It's not recognized. There's no victory lap. Whenever something is lingering around, whether it be his fault or not, it's attached to him and his approval rating and how it has to be his fault. Whatever Republicans do, there is no what do you call it, like standard that they're called out for to be like,
they don't have no standards.
So it's like that's expected of them. It's never a, hey, why are 100% of Republicans in agreement about this shit, but 100. Then we treat Mitt Romney or Liz Cheney, we treat these like good people, like heroic people, but you look at some of the shit that they're against, like they had a vote the other day about like taking white supremacists out of the like military or something, and like every Republican voted against it. So why are we treating them as if, well, that's Joe Biden's fault? Joe Biden's a terrible president. Like, it's so crazy. And I'm glad that Bernie is intentionally targeting the very specific people who are in the way.
Not just saying Democrats. Like, because that shit fucking kills me.
What he used to do is go on these same shows and just say it was Democrats. And honestly, it pissed me off. It was one of the things that pissed me off about him in general, because I know that he knows it's not just quote unquote Democrats, or else why would you be trying to align with their party? Why would you be trying to steal their nomination? Why would you be running as a Democrat instead of an independent when you ran for president? Right. You know that party is the most right party, and I mean right as in correct. They're the most correct party, and they align with you on almost everything you're talking about. The Republicans never will. You're not really independent at all. You're really a Democrat. You just wanted the ego is like, I'm too good to be called this, and I want to run on the idea that I'm not one, so that people go, oh yeah, I'll vote for him because I'm not really voting for a Democrat. Well, your platform aligns with 99% of what they're about. So it's just interesting to watch, like, even he's finally broke. You know what I mean? Like, even he realizes this is not the time to fuck around, because he's definitely a fuck around guy. Yeah. He fucked around in 2016. He used to fuck around under Obama. Like, he's not even fucking around no more. He's just like, it's these motherfuckers, dog. They're fucking everything up. And I'm like, please listen to him. If you're a person that I'm not gonna vote, or I voted for Bernie and I'm not, and this is what Democrats do, please listen to your man. This your man. He telling you straight up,
your man.
Hey, these people are the ones fucking shit up. We need more Democrats. We won't get what we want passed with these two motherfuckers on there, and we got to come to them every time.
Yep.
So yeah, he said, in my humble opinion, Manchin represents the very wealthiest people in this country, not working families of West Virginia or America. So yeah, I definitely like I said, I get, like, I've been saying it for a long time. I know people feel differently, but I would have voted for Bernie. I never had a problem. I don't
Me
have a
too.
problem with Bernie as a politician as far as the policies he's for and shit. Some of the way he move, I think, is kind of productive. It hurts the side that he claims to be for, but to me, it's like I respect the fact that that dude is constantly going to advocate for the people that, you know, I think the politicians should be elected to advocate for. I just feel like low key he don't go far enough. You know what I mean? Like I think he has a lot of racial issues when it comes to talking about class that stop at the white working class, and I'm gonna forever have an issue with that.
Yes, sir.
You know, the fact that he thinks a lot of the issues that affect me and other marginalized people are identity politics. That I'll never be okay with that, and I think if he would have pushed further, people should be more mad at him, because I think if he would have dug deeper into that and connected the fact that all this stuff that is identity politics is economic politics for me, you, and all these other people, I think he would have won more votes. I think it's a shame that he didn't do enough inroads in the 4 years between Clinton and Biden, Hillary running and then Biden winning now.
Right.
With black people, that he ended up flopping again. If I was a fan of him, I'd be very upset that he didn't make those inroads. I wouldn't be blaming the voters. I'd be blaming him because he didn't do outreach. And you know, whenever it's Democrats, people blame the messaging on the Democrats, but whenever it's Bernie, somehow it's never his messaging. It's always everybody else's fault. So you know, no. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate him actually talking about the people it is and not just blaming Biden and shit like everybody else.
Yeah,
is
when
doing.
people say the Democrats, I want to say be specific. Who are we talking about?
Right.
Because it's not, we're not talking about the collective. We're talking about two people. Call them bitches out by name.
Right. Let's see. Jay-Z did an interview, and he some information I didn't know. He doesn't charge for features, but he does turn them down a lot. But a feature is basically when you're a guest on someone else's song.
Okay. Like it's such a, you go with or feature. Some people actually go featuring, but some people go
feature
such a with, and you go, okay, that's the feature.
Yeah. And so a feature from Jay-Z is big time. You know, it's not, he doesn't do those all the fucking time for everybody. But also the assumption is he charged, because a lot of people charge for features and they charge a lot.
Because needs to be worth their time.
Yeah, because a lot of times that's what elevates your song. Is like, yo, we got a feature from Jay-Z and blah blah blah, and then people go listen, and that's how you get on. But yeah, it was interesting that he said he chooses his, you know, hyper capitalist Jay-Z. It's all about the money. He said he just basically goes off of either relationships, or if he just thinks somebody is talented, he'll just want to work with them. Said pretty much every song that I'm on, I'm asked to be on. I don't ask people to be on their songs. I never charge. But he said he does have to turn down a lot because he's busy.
Yeah, he's like, I got shit to do.
Yeah, it says sometimes it slips through the cracks. Sometimes I want to do it, and my life is in a certain place, and I'm moving. I can't do it, but I typically try to be straight up with people. So yeah, this is an interview with Kevin Hart he was doing. I just thought that was an interesting thing, because that's a big thing in rap. Like, people rap about how much they charge for features. You know, like, that's a huge thing. So to hear like one of the most popular rappers of all fucking time is like, oh yeah, I just do it for free. Like, what? Just for the love.
He was like, I don't do it that often, but when I do it, I don't charge.
Yeah, like it's wild to think about. Showcase Cinemas is offering free entry to Redhead so they can hide from the heat.
What's Redhead?
Redheads? You don't know what a redhead is?
Redheads. Oh, I thought you meant like a certain type of thing or a fad or something. I was like, redheads. Okay, my bad.
People with red hair on their heads and other places normally. As experts predict the UK could witness its hottest ever days on record next week, Showcase Cinemas is announcing that Redheads will be given free entry to its screens.
Oh.
The news comes as the UK basks in sunshine. However, the temperature is expected to reach the high 30s next Monday and Tuesday. Many people will be heeding the advice to stay out the heat.
And that's I'm assuming that's Celsius and not degrees.
Of course, not Fahrenheit.
Not Fahrenheit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Celsius and not and not what do you call it? Not Fahrenheit, which is ironically the high 30s. So let's say 38, right? That would be 100 degrees basically.
Good God.
And it almost never gets that hot over there.
But global warming ain't real though.
Right. So redheads are considered people that have fairer complexions. I guess they must be more vulnerable to the sun rays. So they get to go into fully air conditioned cinemas for free. It could just also be somebody's fetish. You know, it's like how I get all these redheads in here because they do be thick. You know, I've noticed. I think we all have noticed. You know, I don't know what it is like genetically that make redheads thick. I don't know if they know black people or white people or some shit, but maybe that's what it is. They like, listen, turn on the AC. You know it's gonna be hot outside. We need to get them redheads in here by any means possible. Okay?
Any means necessary.
Free popcorn, whatever they need. They can sit wherever they want. Okay. You just walk in the theater, it's just a bunch of people's faces and seats, you know. Auditoriums that showcase cinemas across the country are kept cool thanks to their air conditioning system, which offers all guests a welcome reprieve. It is interesting how cinemas always got that, well, normally got that good AC. You know, occasionally you go in one and you be like, God damn it.
Right, it's warm in this bitch.
It's like somebody had me an MLK fan.
That's why I always bring my sweater because the heat the air conditioner be high.
All right, let's move into some other segments. Okay, let's do some. We won't really have a song for this, but you know, everybody's new favorite segment. Broke, five broke. We ain't got it. Let's talk about brokenness. Okay. The U.S. to diversify infant formula industry to avoid shortages.
Diversify? How are we going to diversify it?
So before we only had a couple people that made formula in America, and so when one of them got shut down, that was all the formula.
And you know what? What's so fucked up about that is that with formula, with chicken, with beef, with a lot of shit, a lot of people who were in these industries got pushed out of these industries by these big companies, just bought. And the thing is, now, like you say, when they shut down, you don't have the small people who've been doing this shit for 30, 40, 50 years, generation, because you priced them out. And so I guarantee you, it wouldn't be surprising if there were other people who had baby formulas, might not be as popular. Maybe we only sold in the Midwest or whatever. You push them out. What else is there to do? And now, guess what? Now you're going to have to force these companies to break up or either make it where other people can come into the market.
Yeah, because consolidation does that a lot of times too. With a lot of hyper capitalism of like, hey, I can buy your company now. It's only one company to get all the drugs, and now it's like,
and that's the problem. That's why it's some towns. They fight like Walmart because, you know, some towns are like, hey, we see what Walmart does when they come here. They run out all the mom and pop drugstores, and then there's nowhere else to get your medicine. And guess what? If y'all decide to shut this Walmart down, now everybody has to drive 15 to 20 miles away for groceries, just for basic shit, because y'all the only game in town.
And there's a bunch of regulation on, you know, the mom and pop, just like titties out here. You know, if you want to start up your own milking business in your own house, you're not allowed to sell them titty milks to just regular everybody that on the block. Like it's all kinds of regulations.
They have to filter that and all types of stuff.
So it's, you know, you can't just do that. Let's see. Food and Drug Administration on Wednesday announced plans to help overseas producers that have sent supplies to the United States under emergency approval to address the shortfall, secure long-term authorization. So that could be one way, is to allow people to import it. Now it's gonna probably ultimately end up hurting the domestic makers, but it'll help the consumer.
Yeah, and That's so funny. It's gonna force prices to drop. That's why another reason why they like this thing where you have 3, 4, 5 companies and can't nobody else get in there and anybody and a lot of times it stagnates innovation because a lot of times if you keep the pool diverse, companies are continually coming up with new innovations, new data, like new shit to actually keep everything fresh. Once you get rid of them and everybody buys everybody out, I've realized a lot of the innovation dies because there's no reason to innovate because we own the shit. Or if it does, it's not good. It's terrible. It's horrible.
I don't know what kind of breast milk innovations we've been robbed of.
You never know. You never know.
Could have breast milk milkshakes and all kinds of stuff. Strawberry flavors. Who knows?
You never.
But they stopped innovating. The thing for me too is if this happens, that means that people gonna be drinking breast milk from outside of the country, and a lot of their babies gonna grow up with accents and shit. Think about that. Y'all gonna be feeding that. The first word is gonna be father or whatever, mummy, and you'll be like, "What?
Chip chip cheerio?
What the hell? Where you learn all this from, Junior?" It's like y'all was giving me them foreign titties.
Not locally sourced apparently.
Mitch McConnell says labor shortage take. Mitch McConnell's labor shortage take. It will ease when people run out of savings. Said that stimulus package was too much. People holding on to it, and that's the problem.
Not the fact that 1 million people died. I don't got nothing to do with it. And
you got a whole lot of people sitting on the sidelines because frankly they're flush for the moment. What we've got to hope is once they run out of money, they'll start concluding it's better to work than not to work. According to him.
No, that's that. You don't know people. That's not how this shit works.
And
you have a lot of people that left industries and moved to other industries, and so that's why you have a lot of the food service industry that's like at the bare bones now because people died, and then you have people that was like, "Fuck that," and they.
We know the real reasons. I'm just saying. This is what Mitch saying. Saying y'all need to get back to work. The problem is you got it too good. That's why Republicans' ideas are always to make people hurt as much as possible.
Correct.
Because it's really about bringing back slavery.
That's always been the goal. I hope people understand that is the goal.
That is your shit.
I've been saying that from the beginning. The goal is slavery.
You love to say it, but not you love to see it.
No, I don't want to see it, but it's a fact.
Let's see. City booths starting to pay to fix dire lifeguards. City booths starting pay to fix dire lifeguard shortage. Basically, New York City has the pools, the summer is all open. They don't got no lifeguards. They've been jumping pay to more than $19 an hour, hoping to get a new crop of guards that will watch the mini pools this summer as Mayor Eric Adams looks to further reform the city's troubled program.
Yeah, they've been having that problem here in Charlotte with like summer programs and YMCAs and things like that. They was like, we just don't have the lifeguards.
Right.
So they're having to cut classes, having some of their swimming lessons they can't even offer. Because it was like we just don't have the staff to do it, and that's literally a job where you're consistently in somebody's face, and odds are you wearing a mask are low because you may have to dip into the water.
Right now they have 778 lifeguards when they need about 1,500, so that's half basically. And previous to starting pay had been $16 an hour.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, same thing. Some of the lifeguards died, and then you have some of them just like, I'm not doing that job anymore because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, because you gonna have to give life mouth to mouth,
right?
Also, who want to deal with all these motherfuckers coming out the house? You see how people act,
being rude and nasty to you.
At the YMCA pools, there's an $18 starting pay, but you get a $250 sign-on bonus. Which is, I mean, that's big money.
But that might fill some positions, but some of these, I hope people have come to the understanding that some industries they are never going to go back to the full capacity.
Well, it's still a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. Maybe it will go back to normal. Maybe it's kind of like the 1918 flu or whatever the fuck, where it just takes a few years and then life returns to some semblance of what it was before. But we're still in the middle of it. There's still whole variants. There's a variant now that people worry about getting outside at crowded areas. Like, shit ain't, people ain't stupid. If they can
Yeah.
go do something else, they'll probably try it. And then, with the other thing is, with a lot of these people dying, there's been people that have been able to move up, right? Because it's not like the only people desperate for labor are manual labor jobs.
Mm-mm. And also, is one of the things where basically his thing is like, if you have to choose between basically death and paying bills, you're gonna go pay your bills. And if you die, you die. That's basically what Mitch McConnell is saying. They don't care, and people don't work like that. Some people, if they are privileged enough, said, "I would rather not die."
Yep. Let's see. Air Canada plane begged 25 passengers to get off the plane because it was too heavy for takeoff, because it's harder for planes to lift off when it's hot outside. And of course, it's been extremely hot in this heat wave. So, yeah, they had to ask people to get off.
I did not know that. Are they paying?
Um, I don't know.
Because now now I'm fucking up my connecting flight and all this other bullshit. Like, it ain't as simple as get off the plane.
There was one man. Let's see. Oh wait. So yeah, it's apparently Denver's altitude. The hot air is less dense, and coupled with the thinner air in Denver's altitude, makes it harder for the plane to take off. So they begged for 25 passengers to get off. Finally, it take a later flight. Finally, the flight took off and landed in Montreal. A layover for the passengers who spoke to Business Insider on his way to Europe. But apparently, staffing issues at Montreal's airport forced passengers on a flight from Denver to wait on the tarmac for 2 hours, and the story only got worse from there.
That hot ass target did this. Like,
well, they're waiting inside the plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of the delay.
When you said tarmac, I was like, they put these bitches on the outside of the plane. What? That hot ass tar is 25 degrees higher than whatever it is. No, thank you. I'm sorry.
Just moving out. Oh, plane coming. Watch out, y'all.
Move to the left. Duck.
Because of the delays, the passengers missed the flight from Montreal to Europe, with the airline denying him a hotel room since the delay was weather related. The passenger was eventually able to get a seat on a flight to Europe, which had also been delayed by several hours. But when he landed in Europe, he discovered his luggage was still in Canada. He had spent nearly $5,000 to replace the items in his lost luggage for his business trip. Keep in mind, he said his flight had been delayed 10 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, this is really fucked up for the simple fact that
we are broke.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with shortage in staff. And I agree that you should accommodate. Like, this is beyond my control. Like, I could see if it was snow or some shit like that, but I don't got nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, Air Canada. By the way, his original ticket purchase, $11,000 ticket.
Because of the distance
to go to Europe. I didn't even know tickets cost that much.
And it is that with connecting flights?
I don't know. Is this nigga gonna fly the plane? Was he in first class? $11,000 for a flight from Denver to Europe. Is that normal?
Oh, it's a straight flight too, isn't it?
No, it was a layover. I don't know what the fuck. $11,000? That's a lot.
I don't know. Is it special class? Top gun, top flight class?
Is it you get your dick sucked class? What is $11,000?
Is it we got a bed on the plane class?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like for $11,000 you should get to fly for a few minutes. It's a private jet. What the fuck? 11,000. Holy shit, that is crazy. It must be nice. Oh, anytime I think I got it, I'll just find out I don't got it.
I don't got it like that.
I be thinking I'm doing good. Like, oh yeah,
but like, ooh, I'm broke. Oh, I'm broke.
$11,000. I'd be like, y'all niggas better hop on Zoom. Y'all gonna have to get this motherfucking y'all gonna have to get this teleconference in. Put me on speaker. $11,000, boy. All right.
Is that I hope that's a round trip. 11,000. Shit, it better be.
Yeah. Meanwhile, baggage chaos is getting so bad, flyers are turned into tracking devices because they broke. Fly broke. We ain't got it.
They putting their Apple Air tags in them bitches.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah. So that was the article.
That would make the most sense. That way you know exactly. So when they be lying to you, be like, no, bitch, my shit is in Denver, Colorado, and you told me it was here.
Yeah, this one dude put air tags on his golf bag and other luggage to track where they were. He took a flight to the UK. He landed, checked. It was on the tarmac in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh no!
His luggage was eventually sent to a warehouse at Edinburgh, but while driving there to pick it up, he noticed that his clothes already headed to Aberdeen. His air tag showed they finally ended up in West Midlands in England. Yeah. Like apparently it's the ghetto flying right now, and people, and it's just this weird thing because one, people waited so long to fly, but then all this shit is a perfect storm. It's BA5 variant, which is avoiding a bunch of shit, much more contagious. It's people have waited so long to travel that they book flights and now they're like, fuck it. It's lower staff and pilots and all this shit. It's this heat wave shit. It's all this stuff is combining to make it seem like flying right now is one of the most like YOLO ass experiences that people are having, and people are still planning to do it. So it's like good luck to them, but everybody gonna have one of these type of stories.
I guess I better pack everything in the carry on, and if it can't fit, bitch, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So, oh my god.
But the tag is nice because you know I'd have hated for that person to drive out up there for them to tell him it was going in the opposite direction.
Right. There's the other thing I'll say too is just and I'm not hoping this happens. I don't want to be right about this, but I worry about this. I worry when these planes gonna start crashing and shit. Cause like overworking people, like if you listen to what they're saying, it's like we're gonna pay the pilots extra to fly more. It's like at what point will they be overworked?
Yes.
You know, at what point, you know, it's like we're already canceling flights. It doesn't seem like there's this mass influx of hiring. It seems like the money and the labor shit is constantly being brought up. You had the people that didn't want to wear masks and stuff. They don't want to do that. So now you got sick people. I don't know, man. Like this shit can't last forever. And at some point, like it's gonna take some type of major tragedy before people are like, oh yeah, we probably are doing this flying thing all wrong right now. You know, like acting like this is normal and the world is normal. And you know, there's got to be pilots that are flying with COVID right now. It's got to be.
Oh yeah, and staff
that are incentivized to do so. You know, they're not tested anymore. You don't have to wear a mask. Like there were pilots the whole time that said they never wanted to wear a mask, and it's all right, and our union shouldn't agree to this. So I don't know. Whew. Anyway, all right, let's move it to another segment. Let's do some fucking with black people. Hey,
we're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them black people. We're just fucking with them blacks. We're just fucking with black people. Hey, hey,
All All right, fucking with black people. Game go around the globe. Find different articles make us feel fucked with them. We assign point scores from 0 to 100, intervals of 25. Today's contestants, everybody. Why Polo Ralph Lauren HBCU inspired new collection leaves some conflicted. This is an old article. Okay. I always save these. That's what it looks like if y'all want to see. Looks like a Spellman crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Polo Ralph Lauren will release a capsule collection inspired by Spelman, Morehouse, and collegiate black fashion impact on American style and evolution. The HBCU historically black. Oh, we know what that means. Well, which launched in March 29. The HBCU collection will feature outerwear, knits, tailored suits, dresses, footwear, accessories designed by Spelman and Morehouse alumni who work at the company. This capsule marks the first time the brand has produced a campaign with an all-black cast, utilizing talent from students, faculty, and alumni at both institutions. Acclaimed fashion photographer Nadine Jouer licensed lens to shoot. Polo Ralph Lauren's director of concept design and special projects, James Jeter, is a 2013 graduate of Morehouse College and the creative powerhouse behind the capsule collection. Jeter drew inspiration from old Spelman and Morehouse yearbooks for the collection. The designs pay homage to the styles worn at Spelman and Morehouse in the 1920s and to 1950s and showcase the sartorial prestige and distinction present at HBCUs during that era. Yeah, all right. So I guess some people were upset by it, of course. Let's see. The collections are archival nod to HBCU fashion as part of a larger push to reshape outdated narratives and showcase the American dream from a more inclusive lens. It is so much more than a portrayal of collegiate design sensibility. It's about sharing a more complete and authentic portrait of American style and of the American dream, ensuring stories of Black life and experiences are embedded in the inspiration and aspiration of our brand, said fashion designer Ralph Lauren in the press release. So then, of course, some people had an issue with it. Someone said something is a bit off. Waspy preppy style was a self-preservation tool for many generations of Black people, tweeted Shelby Ivy Christie, a fashion and costume historian. The thought of likening oneself to whiteness would make you /safe/seen. Other people have shared their thoughts on HBCUs, such as Spelman and Morehouse, receiving more mainstream attention than other HBCUs. Love that Ralph Lauren did what Ralph Lauren did for Spelman and Morehouse, but I would really appreciate if larger companies like Polo would expand to other HBCUs for campaigns like this. I wish brands, celebrities, and donors would realize there are other HBCUs than Morehouse, Spelman, and Howard. Christie also acknowledged the white histories embedded in some HBCUs that may influence opportunities and collaborations they get. Her tweets also pointed out the collaboration is not between Morehouse and its actual sister school, Bennett College, but instead with Spelman. All right. Like that's about it. In December 2021, Ralph Lauren announced a $2 million commitment to support scholarships for Black, African, or African American students, including those at Morehouse, Spelman, and 10 other additional HBCUs. All right, 0 to 100.
Oh, this is a 0 for me, and maybe call me a coon, whatever you want to call me when I say this statement.
Cool. Go ahead.
It's one of these things where the Black people did this, but because y'all people hear Ralph Lauren, everybody just assumes some white man is whiting it up and like he just came up with these ideas. There are people that actually graduated from HBCUs, went to these schools. These are their ideas,
right?
And so it kills me when a lot of people shoot shit down because it's not for them or they don't like it or whatever the case may be. That's cool. But what does this have to do with, put like this, people, because of racism, systematic racism has caused people to feel like this. That's why they bring up other HBCUs. Yeah, that's systematic racism, but that has nothing to do with this brand of line we're talking about right here. That has nothing to do with that. They actually went into the history books and the archives and was like, hey, let's do how we used to dress. Everybody know that shit ain't gonna get us free. Everybody, y'all not saying nothing special. Y'all not saying nothing new underneath the sun. You're actually not. And these complaints have nothing to do with the look, the style, the design. The kids may love it. I don't know. But it's like, it kills me when everybody holler about they want diversity, everybody holler out they want black people to do well, everybody holler out get the bag. Black people are in a position to do something, and we shoot the shit down because it quote unquote was backed by a white man. Well, you know who got the money? Motherfuckers, they do. So we have to use their money to do shit. We cannot function without white people. We just can't. And so it's one of these things where it just kills me when anything comes up. If it has anybody white associated with it, all of a sudden it gets the recognition. And what's so funny about that is this. Let's say they broke out and they did it on their own without the quote unquote white endorsement. Everybody would turn around and some of these same people would say, how is ghetto? Because it's black. All of a sudden, for some reason, when it's just us, the quality of something diminishes sometimes just because it's automatically black. But at the same time, we get praise when we associate ourselves with whiteness. All of a sudden, you get a white cosign. All of a sudden, everybody want to come out and act like you, quote unquote, have made it. This is something that I realized, and it kills me when it comes to things like this. No, I give it a 0 because this is the shit you say you want, you get it, and then you reject it. It's fucking confusing to me.
Yeah, and I think some of it also was like some inner politics, of like, how come these HBCUs are the ones that get these deals? Which, from a couple standpoints, like number one, the people are alumni of those places where, I think if it was an alumni of Fayetteville State, I'm sure they'd be trying to get something for Fayetteville State in there. So that's one of them. And then two, I very much am similar to you, where I think the idea that preppy black people only did that as a way to survive whiteness is also a misnomer, because there are some preppy black people to this day. They have nothing to do with surviving. Like, I just want to be seen by white people. It's like that might just be their style. The same way there's goth black people, and there's, it still implies that there's a level of uniformity to blackness that has never really existed unless under the auspices of oppression, to which I'm like, you can never really know how anybody is under oppression. But yeah, man, I'm not bothered by it either. The fact that they had it fund, or they gave $2 million to those HBCUs plus 10 more,
which got ignored,
is kind of like a, like, all right, yeah, I guess it's not a big, I don't know, not a big problem for me. So yeah.
As long as Ralph Lauren didn't came out and was like, well, I guess I do something for the nigglets, I have no problem with it.
Yeah. I didn't see anything problematic in there. All right, let's see. A woman reveals her only coworker was fired after she filmed them dancing on the job. Said so. Oh wait, what the hell? Why this article? Everything went. Oh, it's behind a paywall now, of course. All right. Well, that wasn't the case when I first saved it. Let's see if we can find one not behind the paywall. Give me a second, everybody.
No problem. And I'm a vamp while you doing that.
Oh, I found it.
Okay.
But did you want to vamp anyway? You still have something to say or no?
Oh, no. I was just gonna.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you stepping up, player. I see the effort. I want you to know that I appreciate that.
I was trying because I didn't know how long it was gonna take it, and it was one of those things to where everybody claims that black people are not a monolith. Everybody claims we are not all alike, but at the same time, anybody steps outside of the line, it's a problem. And you know what? If they would have done something that was baggy pants and all that stuff, like I said, these same people would have said it was ghetto. So you cannot win for losing. Like I said, it's really frustrating to me.
Race is just controversial.
Yeah,
and there's always multiple ways to look at it. And to me, it's about trying to have some understanding of people. But main thing I'm trying to, at this point in my life, I'm trying to understand where things are really about our own insecurity, and we're projecting it onto other people to make them the enemy or the bad guy, but it's really some shit we need to deal with.
Correct.
You know, it reminds me of that Groove and Gorilla guy who ended up changing his name to Big Groove, which, you know, the guy he's that really muscle bound guy that gets
that be in the videos that pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, and like his videos might be quote unquote corny, they might be annoying, blah blah blah. But a lot of stuff that people started saying about him was more racially tinged, like he's a coon, he's a sellout, he's, you know, he's embarrassing us as black people and
that
stuff.
didn't bother me.
And that was the part where I was like, okay, that's going beyond, because like you might feel like if it was a white guy doing that, you might be like it's annoying or it's corny. Once you start calling this person like somehow hurting his race, you've taken it to another level that's about your insecurity, because he never did or said anything racial. Like he never popped, like I'd never seen a video of him saying some problematic shit. He just seemed to be a black dude who was free, having a good time. And I think it's perfectly acceptable to roll your eyes at it. That's not like, you don't have to like support it, but you could be like, yeah, it's corny, I don't like it. Once you start going into like he the reason we not free, it's like, all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, them are some deeper underlying.
Yeah, that's our insecurity.
Yes, and like I say, race and racism in America has fucked black people up to where, you know, for some people they can't enjoy anything, you can't do anything, you can't consume anything without that jumping up out of them.
So a white girl posted her and her coworker, who is a black man, dancing on some TikTok shit. And apparently he got fired. And so she said this must be some racist shit. She said she's white, she goes by the name Faith Riggs 5. This video must be kind of old. I don't see. I guess she spends a lot of time doing dancing. Okay, this is just what she's into.
That's a jam. You're trying to find TikTok?
I'm trying to find that specific one, and I have her whole TikTok, and she be on here every day. Okay, she is getting it.
So he recorded it and she posted it on her TikTok, or did he?
I think they both danced and recorded and put it on. She put it on TikTok.
Okay.
Anyway, she posted a TikTok video. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is the video. Okay, all right. So this is the video.
Then we die in it. Pull him to the side, let me slide.
I don't see anything.
Y'all don't see this?
Okay, the screen moving slow.
Sorry. Oh, okay. So I need to rewind.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem. So this is them dancing. So it's just like a simple choreographed 15-second TikTok dance, some shit trying to be on some type of trend.
People do all the time when they breaks and shit.
So the caption she put at the top was, "Guess which one of us got fired after this?" So they fired the black dude after this, and so people were like, "Oh, this racial discrimination. If it wasn't both of y'all, I would think the other one might be wrong for termination." So then a follow-up, she addressed concerned comments alongside Justin, I guess the black dude, and she explained that it was Justin who was initially fired, but she was also terminated from the position after not showing up for work. First, it was him that got fired, and they wrote me up yesterday saying if I no call, no show, I'm getting fired. So guess who no call, no show? So I guess she did it out of solidarity. We came into work yesterday. He worked a 6-hour shift before they fired him, she said. Secondly, they said they weren't firing him, that he is forced to resign so that he could not claim unemployment for his bills. The termination had nothing to do with the dance video, Riggs added. No one saw us make the dance video. The termination was for no call, no showing. Also, she kind of misrepresented it in the video. Okay. Yeah.
They didn't get fired for posting the video itself, right?
So they didn't even see the video. They just okay. So I can see why. Because honestly, if you posted that video with that caption, I would think you're saying the black guy got fired because they saw the video, and I didn't get fired, and it's because he's black and I'm white.
Right.
She said she still thinks the termination was unfair because she did not show up to work 4 times and received only a warning from their manager. Meanwhile, Justin didn't show up to work only twice and was fired.
Don't let what is we Gen Z, whatever generation we is.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'm struggling.
Yeah,
it's trying to come out.
Yeah, because it's jumping out of me too. Going, but you didn't show up to work. Like, bitch, you got to work. I don't understand this. You can't no call, no show, and be like, but they fired me. I'm not paying you for nothing. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's us. That's our generation jumping up, going, the fuck.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Yeah, dog. You lost me.
Yeah.
You both lost me.
It's a generational thing because a lot. No.
We are losing recipes.
No, if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Who the fuck? No call, no shows up to work multiple times and like these niggas racist. What?
Oh my God, this is what's wrong with the game. The young ladies today, they're not learning from mom how to cook. We're losing recipes.
We losing recipes.
Somebody said that they had no PTO. Nah, they probably didn't. I guess.
No call, no show is not a PTO thing.
Mm-mm.
You can't no show.
But that is at least with PTO, you can call and be like, you know what? Take some of my PTO time. They was like, I ain't coming. I ain't showing. I ain't giving you no notification.
I'm not gonna lie, they had us in the first half. 0. No, I'm not fucked with.
No, I am not.
Matter of fact, fuck y'all. Yeah, she said, "Oh, I still think it was racist because he only no call, no show twice." And he said, "The math ain't mathing, nigga. The work ain't working. How about that?
It ain't getting done."
I wish I would come home to my parents talking about some. I only no call, no show twice, and they let me go, but they let the white girl no call, no show 4 times. What? My dad be like, "Boy,
you know what? You better no call, no show your ass in there and get another goddamn job."
Right? He would have did that Bill Cosby. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Y'all know how we.
No wonder you get D's and everything.
Y'all know how we like to take a situation and turn it into something else. That would not end well.
TikTok commenters still urge Justin to sue for racial discrimination, but praise Riggs for defending her friend by leaving the job too. You a real one for sticking beside. Boy, these goddamn millennials.
It's a generational thing. Because I'm like, you got to go to work. You can't not show up and then be like, well, they fired you after 2 times and me after 4. Well, we both lost our jobs.
I'm gonna just have to be old on this one.
Me too.
I can't fuck with this.
I'm just an old fuddy-duddy.
This is motherfucking disgusting.
It's ridiculous.
I wish I would hire a nigga and they'd be like, yeah, it was real racist how you fired me for
not showing up.
After I stopped coming to work without even telling you I wasn't coming.
I didn't
know. That was real
you.
Fucked up, Rod. That was real racist, man.
And then came to work the next day like everything was fine. Probably didn't give no explanation or nothing.
I bet if I was white, you would have let me do it 2 more times. What, nigga? What?
Yeah.
Boy, please take me to court. Let's go to court. Let's go to trial. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Let's go in front of a judge and listen you explain to them. You see, it was real discriminatory because like I wasn't showing up to work, right? I'm missing my shifts, but she missing her shifts. So we just want to like, it was really, I think I should get some money for the work I didn't do.
Yeah, I'm the old black person screaming at the clouds because that don't make no sense.
Boy. Woo. That's why I'm glad I ain't had no children. I just picture my child trying to explain this shit.
To me, because that's not gonna make sense.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What did I raise? What did I go wrong? Like, you such a disappointment right now.
I'm gonna be like, what you call it? I was rooting for you. We was all rooting for you.
Right.
How dare you? That's gonna be me.
It's a goddamn job.
It's a job.
You're not supposed. What? You come on, man. You know, so no. Come. Not this time.
It gets Jakaris, but in the other direction.
Not this time, man.
It's a negative Jakaris.
Right. Oh my god. All right, let's get into let's do some guest race and then we'll start wrapping this thing up. Get my guest the race music out. There we go.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Wow, they fired me for not showing up to work, but faster than they fire a white person for not showing up to work. I'll take the case.
All
right.
take your money.
A bride was arrested for lacing food at her own wedding.
Lacing it with what?
A bride was arrested.
Sugar? What's we lacing this shit with?
A 2-month investigation that determined she had schemed with her caterer to put cannabis in her guest food.
What?
Yep.
I would fight you on a goddamn spot. How dare you?
Crash,
Well, how you gonna fight her? You gonna be high as hell. So first you're gonna need to get some munchies, you know. Then you gonna wonder if the bushes is talking to you.
Because my thing is, let me know. I don't, like if I'm down, cool, but give me the choice. Because you could have made people sick. People have allergies. You just don't know.
It's a wedding gift to everybody, you know.
Seminole County wedding started to feel sick. Eden has the latest developments from our newsroom. Eden.
Detectives testing food at the wedding and arresting the bride, 42-year-old Dania Glennie, along with her caterer, 31-year-old Jocelyn Bryant. They were about 30 to 40 guests at the wedding. Some say their hearts started racing. Others felt nauseous and dizzy and got sick. Police on the scene asked the bride and her husband if they requested cannabis to be put in the food, and they responded no. But now, 2 months later, detectives say beer, lasagna, and desserts all tested positive for THC.
Damn.
The two women.
All of it, y'all, they want to make sure everybody got some multiple courses and multiple doses.
Have been charged with violating the state's Anti-Tampering Act, culpable negligence, and delivery of marijuana. They have been released on bond.
All right, guess the race of the bride. Dania Glennie. And her caterer got arrested too.
Which they should have.
Yeah. So did you want to guess the race of both or just one? Because they're not the same race.
I guess we could. They're not the same race.
Right.
Well, did they got the names?
So the bride is Dania Glennie, and the caterer is Jocelyn Bryant.
I don't know which is which.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm gonna go. One is black and one is white.
Okay, but which one? Dania Glennie
is
the
black.
Bride, and Jocelyn Bryant,
white.
the caterer. Okay, so so yeah, whiter than white, cheesy Charlie. So those are just it looks like the chat room's too confused over how to guess this. So I'll just tell you, Karen, you got it wrong. The races are backwards.
Oh, damn. The caterer was black.
The caterer was black, so you know the food was off the chain. Because listen, we seasoned the food. And the bride was white. You know, I don't know if she was marrying a black man. We didn't get those details, but Dania Glennie is on the left and Jocelyn Bryant is on the right. So would have been a lit wedding to go to, and just, you know, let me know.
Making people sick. Come on, dog.
A Caledonia OWI, which I think is operating while under the influence. Milwaukee man charged with third offense. Milwaukee man charged, yeah, with his third offense after admitting to drinking while driving. Prosecutors say 51-year-old James Furstenau had open beer cans in his SUV at the time of his arrest. He's also charged with driving with a revoked driver's license prior to his due to his prior convictions.
Just a good old boy,
as well as a misdemeanor bail jumping.
Never meaning no harm.
The Racine County Sheriff's deputy made a traffic stop on an SUV reported for reckless driving near 7 Mile Road. As deputies approached the SUV, the driver, since identified as Furstenau, dropped his keys out of the window and got out before being told to do so. Let's skip to the end. A criminal complaint states deputies smelled a strong odor of intoxicants. Asked if there was a reason for that. He said he had a couple after work.
A couple? Why 20 beer cans roll out when you open up that door?
They found
out here like Rick.
They found an open can of 4 Loko.
Oh no!
And 3 open cans of natural ice beer.
God
damn! He was driving on revoked driver's license due to his prior convictions. He had active warrants out for his arrest. He was taken into custody. He admitted to using cocaine, smoking marijuana earlier in the day. He also admitted to drinking what was found in the SUV while he was driving and said, "I was drinking and driving." The complaint also states he told deputies he had been drinking since he was 9 years old and that he drinks alcohol like his coffee. Karen, guess the race.
No. White.
All right, let's check the chat room. Rhymes with donkey. Natural ice equal white. He got caught 3 times, ain't got 1 bullet in his back. White. Cops didn't kill him and he was doing cocaine. White. Confessing Caucasian. My man was bucket listing. He don't give a damn about himself or anyone else. White. Old Milwaukee best self snitching white. Redneck white. The correct answer is white.
Did they knock him upside the head, or did he get that from driving?
I don't know, but I guess he's not gonna do that again. All right, let's go to the bonus round. For triple the points.
What time is it?
Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the points. Triple the race. Triple the points. Triple the points.
Triple the points. Triple the race.
All right, bonus round against the race. Karen is 1-1, but everything in the final round is worth triple the points for triple the racism. So how you feeling going into this bonus round, Karen?
I feel pretty good. I got the races right, just the reverse for the first one.
That's true. It was a bit of a trickster,
yes,
the first one.
Was.
You know, but all right, let's get to this this article. A Maryland man was arrested Thursday after pepper spraying and stabbing a deli employee who tried to stop him from stealing the business's tip jar.
Oh, damn.
Brian Wack, 32 of Silver Springs, was panhandling inside Max's Kosher Cafe around 12:38 p.m. when he allegedly stole a tip jar from the counter and walked out. When an employee followed Wack out the establishment and confronted him, Wack pepper sprayed and then stabbed the victim before fleeing the area.
That's why they tell you they.
I mean, but that's the company money. The tip jar is my money, so that's different. People gonna fight for that.
Yeah, I can see that, but I can see the company being like, "You still ain't got no business going out there, though."
Yeah, that's what the company would say, but that's like when it's the company, like, oh, they stole some CDs, like, well, that's Best Buy CD money,
right?
But you still the tip jar. There's gonna be a lot of people willing to fight for that. I'm not saying it's right, but it's different. The victim, identified only as an adult male, was rushed to an area hospital in serious condition. No update on the victim's condition was immediately available. All right, Karen, guess the race. They did find him later at a laundromat and they apprehended him, by the way. Bryant Wack.
White.
Karen's going white. Whack ass Walter White, says Devil Bitch. White. A lot of whites in the chat. White. All them weapons white, but the last name is throwing me off. White. Whack 100 black. Got his on January 6th white.
Oh no.
One who loves cheese and dances on the ones and threes white. Everybody's going white except one person, and everybody missed it. I see a couple people did say black, so congrats. But yeah, that's him. Like got some Fetty Wap shit going on with his eye too. So. But he looked like he'll stab a nigga, so I probably wouldn't have done it. You know, we would just got my 14
that name, yeah, that name.
The worst is if you put your own money in the tip jar, because that's what some people do to encourage tipping, Like you start off, put a couple of your dollars in, so now he done stole your money. You done lost money coming to work. All right, last thing, guys, let's do some sword ratchetness. A man has been arrested carrying a sword and Harrow wield. Police have arrested a man on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon after he was found with a samurai sword and Harrow wield. The incident happened close to a nearby school at Hatchet and High on Friday at the junction of Courtney Avenue and Tillotson Road. Harrow wield. Footage of the incident obtained by the Herald Online shows a number of people watching on at hard as the man was detained by police. Officers attended the man. He was arrested on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon. He was taken into custody. And yes, it was a samurai sword. So good work, police officers. Let's get this motherfucker off the street before he hurts one of the kids in the school. Let's not wait. Y'all did a better job than Uvalde police, okay?
Apparently so.
All right, y'all, that's it. Tomorrow's guest at 5 p.m. live on Crowdcast will be Keith and Himda from Keith and the Girl.
Yay! They haven't been on in a while. This
Yeah,
should be
looking
fun.
forward. We talk to them almost every other week, so we'll be looking forward to talking with them, introducing them to some of y'all if y'all haven't heard their podcast or heard them on the show before, and just kicking it with our friends. So, all right, y'all. Until tomorrow, love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.